let me show you how to avoid having this happen to you anytime you're cutting your tile. There are a few trade secrets that you can implement in this process to make sure that this never happens to you. Just remember, if it's helpful and you want to get more tips like this, to make sure to hit follow and subscribe. Let's get into the video. So I have a piece of tile here and I'm going to make this cut for you and show you how easy it is to make that and show you the secret of what you have to do in order to make that happen. And then to make things even more interesting, I'm going to attempt to make this cut right here, and notoriously you'll have this corner blowout or this thin corner blowout. And again, I'll show you the secret on what to do to avoid that. So the first thing you want to do is clean up your surface that you're working on. So to grab a sponge and make sure that you don't have anything that could get under your tile and put that pressure on it. So we'll make sure that we don't have any old tile chips, anything like that. Now we'll be able to put that down. Second, you want to make sure that you have a good blade. And for us, we're using this Ruby Venom blade. And this one's old. I've already did an entire shower with this and I'll still be able to do it. It's not a brand new blade. Anybody could do it with a brand new blade. But I will have the link for this blade linked down below from Placer Pros. This is by far the best blade that you could use for these types of cuts. Any blade from big box store, I still have yet to find a good blade from a big box store that would be able to do this. Second thing we're going to do is that we're going to use a hydro tail. And hydro tail is this system right here that as we're cutting it, it's going to spray water on our blade and will keep it from heating up, and it'll also keep the dust down, which is nice for your lungs. But the biggest thing is that it'll preserve your blade for way longer because it doesn't get hot, and those diamonds that are coating your blade here don't get worn out. So that's the first thing. And really, and then when we get to this part right here, so basically from here, as I get closer, what you'll see me do is that blade is going to come out, and then I'm going to score it and then cut through. You'll see what I mean. So we'll probably record from this side. As I'm cutting, I'll get close, I'll come out and make that cut, and I guarantee you it will not blow out. So I'll go ahead and turn my hydro tail on, and it's just this valve right here. I'm gonna turn it on. I wanna make sure that I have that mist right there, and that does regulate. You could change this to however you want it. You want it to be a stream or you want it to be a mist. I like the mist because I feel like it keeps the dust down better. And then as I'm cutting it, I want that mist to spray on my surface right here on my cutting wheel. Okay, and again, I'll have this link down below as well from Placer Pros that you could get that if you want. But let's go ahead and start to make this cut. The big thing here as well, and I mean, look at that cut. That is a perfect cut right there. What you want to do also is that you have some type of foam board underneath it. I like to have a piece of foam board from our waterproofing. It's just gives you that cushion. Also, you don't have to worry about the blade plunging a little bit further down into it. So that cut right there is a perfect cut. All you have to do is just come in there, polish it a little bit, and it will look just like a factory cut for you. All right, so I'll put this off to the side. Now I'm going to attempt to make this really hard cut. And if you ask pros out there, they will say that this is a hard cut. So before I go, again, you see all these little pieces of tile that chips off from the back side of it? You have to clean this off. That's very, very important. Another thing, as you're cutting it, it's almost pretend that you're walking a small little Ruby dog. Pretend that you're doing that and you're holding it back. Basically, this grinder just wants to go. There's so much power in here. There's so much power that goes into this wheel that it's really pushing itself forward, and it's very easy to just put pressure and go with it. You want to almost hold it back. I feel myself, as I'm cutting, I feel myself resisting it back and just slowly grinding and letting it eat. Do not put the pressure forward with it because you're putting stress onto those corners. So let's see if we can make this cut. I believe this right here is a very difficult cut to make for any tile installer out there. We have a very small piece right here. We have a very small piece right here that typically would blow out. So again, we'll use our Hydro Tail here. Then we're going to use our Ruby blade, and then I'm going to use my favorite Makita grinder here. So I'll go ahead and turn the Hydro Tail on the mist mode. I like the mist mode because it'll, one, take care of all the dust, and two, it cools your blade as it goes, which will get so much more life out of this blade, and it takes some of that stress off of it. As I get to this last part right here, you'll see me come out and then come back and finish that cut. And let's see if we can do it without blowing this piece out. Half of the time that blows out on even pros. So let's see if we can do it. So that trick right there at the end is why this tile did not blow out, and we have that perfect cut right there. So if I put these pieces back together, let me wipe this up. I'll put these pieces back together and you'll see that perfect cut there. Also, when you're, I mean, come on, for a handheld grinder cut, this is as good as it gets. Also, when you're on this tile right here, you're cutting it, take your weight off of the tile. Don't push your weight on the tile as you're cutting it, because it could kind of put a little bit of that pressure on it, okay? So make sure that you're not doing that. So those are the few tricks that I'm teaching you guys, or that you should implement, and the way that you can go from having your tile blow out like this to being able to make super straight and, you know, professional cuts like this. These are the types of cuts you would have to use when you're doing your large format tile on your shower pan, or you have some corners in your shower that you got to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to hit follow and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next tutorial.